Hey everyone, it is Thursday again, and this is Cara Pressley. You are now tuned in to the Cara Pressley Radio Show, #1 business radio in partnership with Mike King Biz. Today we have an amazing interview. Stay tuned, and I will introduce you to Miss Robyn. All right, guys, we are back, and like I said, we have an amazing guest today. So, Robyn, go ahead and introduce yourself. You just do so much. I want you to tell the world who you are.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Robyn Roots. I'm originally from Tampa, Florida. I've been in Virginia since college. I'm a nurse by day and film producer by night. And one of my passions is health and wealth, just making sure that we're healthy in both those areas because they do affect the other areas. So you can be healthy and not have money, and that can cause you to become unhealthy.
Listen.
And vice versa. When you're healthy, you're like, okay, I want to have some fun. I want to enjoy life, but your finances are jacked up. So it's a combination.
It is a combination. It's interesting that you say that. I was just telling a girlfriend of mine, are we depressed or do we just not have enough money? Because something about when you don't have the income that you think you need, or it's not financially coming in the way you envision, it's a different type of weight on your shoulders. I can't quite describe it, but I see that happening a lot just in my Facebook feeds, people, and not that to minimize depression at all, but finances and the pressures of the world weigh in on you. What's your take on that? Because I know you have your movie Year of the Nurse. So I'm sure it's just the nurses just over, that was during the pandemic, but since the pandemic, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just tagging on and impacting all of us, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because so many people, financial status got worse after COVID. And then some of the younger people that embraced that time, they got into the stock market. They got into a lot of digital things that we were afraid of, but then we had more time to focus. And I think when you think about mental health, finances are so much a part of that, and also your health. And so what I try to do for me is evaluate, what am I concerned about each day? What are the things that my mind go back to? And then I start to evaluate what I have. And it's funny because even on yesterday, my husband and I were talking about some financial things because I just got married, be 2 years in June.
Okay.
That's like a journey. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right. We can talk about it.
But anyway, we were talking about finances. And so when I was younger, I did a lot of things following the movement of successful people. And so to be retired at 58 and own real estate and different things like that and be into the digital world, I learned through trial and error, but I was earning at the same time. And so a lot of people, they're waiting to get a full understanding before they attempt to do something, but yet and still they'll follow GPS from here to Texas. And it's just amazing to me. So I think it's so important when you're going through any type of mental health challenges, depression, you know as an individual when you're not on your game. And where does that come from? What is the root of that? Are you worried about paying your mortgage? Are you worried about your child graduating and now they want to go to college and I don't have anything set up?
Right.
But one thing I've found, if you sit down and evaluate what you truly have, 9 times out of 10, we have more than we think we have. We really, really do. Because some things you forget about. Like I bought bonds when I was probably in my 30s and 40s. Did I know what I was doing? No, but my company offered that.
Right.
And so to retire and go back and find this boatload of bonds, I was like, yeah, this is good. And then to go to the bank and people's like, how old are you? Because people don't really deal with bonds. I say, yeah, I'm a little older than I look, but it was money that I had saved up and then it had value to it.
That is so true. We do need to stop and just assess what we have currently, intangible things and intangible things, like just the wealth of knowledge that like you just said, we can reach out to people and get information and really get ourselves where we want to. I hate to say that people don't want to do the work. I think that it really is just about people not knowing where to start. So that was such a great point that you made, because y'all, let's just self-assess. That is a key thing. Just self-assess. What do you have? What do you actually want? And what's next? I think that'll help guide your steps. That takes me into the next question with you. I know I said earlier you were a director, but you're a producer. You have a whole production company. Tell us what's next since your movie Year of the Nurse, or where do you hope for things to go with your productions?
Well, one thing I want to share about being a filmmaker, from becoming, I've been a nurse 36 years and now I'm into film. It's a whole different ball game. It's not a quick, fast money-making business, and any great filmmaker can tell you that. However, there are phases to it. You can write a movie, you can get the script evaluated, and they say, oh, this is awesome. Then somebody either buys it or you end up creating a film. Okay, once you create the film, you got to get out there and market it. Film festivals, and very few people pay you to come to a film festival. You have to pay all the expenses. Some people, have invited me to come show my film, and they'll cover some of the expenses, but that's not, unless you like a Angela Bassett or somebody. When you're marketing your film, you got to be consistent with it. And the one thing I can say, I started this in 2020, and my film is 2020 Year of the Nurse, and we created this during COVID, and now we're in 2023. I am still getting letters, I'm still getting interviews, I'm still getting opportunities to produce and direct with other filmmakers from that project. And with the film itself, I decided to do self-distribution. So that requires me to do all of the work. Mm-hmm. However, seeds that I have sowed in 2021, they're finally starting to germinate. Little things are budding out, and people are calling saying, hey, I'm sorry, it's taking this long to get back to you, but I was out of the country and this and that and that and this. And I'm like, okay. And so my husband has taught me to be patient. Be cordial all the time. He said, people will say, oh, I'll give you a call next week. Next week could be 8 months from today.
Listen.
Yes. And when that 8 months come, usually they have everything ready to go. And that's been my experience. And so I'm grateful that I am a nurse. I have other businesses, because if I was waiting on that check, listen here, that part right there, we wouldn't have any assets at all. So you have to learn. You got to have more than one stream of income. I think I'm up to 9.
Okay, good.
And each and every one brings in something. And that's important, because it's a lot going out.
Yeah. That part.
There are platforms that maintain your website. If you have an assistant like me, you have all different kind of fees that you're paying every month just to maintain your business.
Right.
If you don't truly have a business. I'm sorry.
That part. I tell people that all the time. My clients, do you make under 5K? Because it's still considered a hobby by IRS standards. Right. So you have to be aware of these things. I mean, it can fully be a business, but it's about the sustainability. Where is it going for you? And, I talked about this yesterday on live. This boss culture of trying to.
I heard it. I was like
something.
She is on it.
You got to have people. You need an audience, and it's collaboration over competition. You can't do it by yourself. You can try. You really can. But if you're just trying to look like something, or if you just want to make an announcement, then it's not business. It's bless their hearts. It just. Yeah. I think social media gives a hard illusion to what's going on.
Absolutely.
I tell people all the time, like, this generation is probably the first generation who will really stay connected, like, through high school, right? So you don't even get a break from people to grow or to grow yourself and maybe find who you are. You just constantly see everybody's daily update, and you think that their highlight reel is the real thing, and it's not. So as you just said, with your 9 streams of income, I'm pretty sure it is a task to manage and juggle, but it's fulfilling. I know it's fulfilling for you.
Yeah, you have to understand, and this took me a while to get until I retired. Mm-hmm. I'm still a nurse. I have my license, I have my certification, but I don't work for a corporation anymore.
Right.
So moving from the corporate world into full entrepreneurship, whereas before I had both of them going simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And what I have found, I know which one I love, and I know which one that, some days I just want to just fully retire, put the sign out, because I'm like, you have to really want it. You have to be consistent, and you have to know your end game. You got to know where you're going. Yeah. Because if not, you find yourself just spinning around in circles. But don't misunderstand, everything fits together like a puzzle. There's certain things you cannot accomplish unless you connect with people like yourself. Collaboration is key, because you understand when someone like you that is great at interviewing and public speaking, you can see your deficiencies, when you follow someone like you say, okay, I need to work on that. Oh, this is good. I need to get with her on that. And so that's important to me, to always reach out, because people might see me a certain way. And I'm a novice. I'm still learning certain things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm great at service as far as a nurse. I've served all my life. I've served people. And that's my ultimate mission in life, is to be of service. Even though have businesses, there's a lot of it, like you said in your talk yesterday, that you do for free so you can support and be in the room with people. I'm actually going to a woman's event tonight at St. Paul's Baptist Church, and I'm going there because I love to be around women that need self-care. We need some time away from the kids, the husband, your business, everything, and just be with women, spend a little money on
that
you.
Part. Right.
And that's what's important. So I think we have to really remember why we started what we're doing. When is the end supposed to be? Because I had no plans to work till I'm 75. Right. I always said I would retire in my 50s. I said that when I was in my 20s.
Right.
Now, why I said that? Because I was hanging with people that said they were retiring in their 30s and they was in the stock market. And I was like, I don't understand what they're talking about. And back then you had to have money, a lot of money. But once I learned about fractional shares, I jumped right in the pool with them and took off. Okay. So you have to wait for your time, and because it is a time.
It is a time, right? But that, like you said, going around people, others, just broadening your perspective overall is so important, because you never know what you may find out, learn, just tap into. I tell people my journey all the time. I was a comedian, a candle maker, all these things, before I sat down one day and said, what do all these things have in common? Oh, speaking. Well, maybe I just want to speak. And then I realized I didn't have to have another vice to step in front of that. So your journey reflects the same thing. You're a nurse, you're a filmmaker, but like your nursing journey helped to really relay that on film. And I love that for you. But let's pivot into the last part I wanted to tap into you about, was the I want to say kidney awareness, but I know that's not specifically what it is. But I know my father has kidney failure. I had no idea about what that even looked like until our family was faced with this. So tell us a little bit more about your advocacy for kidney health.
Well, as I said, I've been a nurse for over 30 years. My specialty is kidney health. I'm a certified dialysis nurse. And I've worked in multiple dialysis units, managed them, and I created my own company called Kidney Keeper in 2012. Okay. It has been up and running since 2012. And with that, I've been into schools, I've been into colleges, talking about nursing and talking about kidney health. And it's been a passion of mine, because when I was young, before I ever went to college, I took care of an aunt that had emphysema. And it was we don't hear about emphysema much, but it was the people that had like a barrel chest and they had congestive heart failure. And the chest kind of mimicked like a barrel. It had a roundness from trying to breathe all the time. And so I took care of her and went away to college, and, you know, felt like I should have been able to do more for her. But I wasn't able to, I didn't have the knowledge. And during that time, she required dialysis. But back then, that was in the 80s, early 80s, you had to pay. You know, different things weren't in place. And so the copay was like $300-something for my mom to have her dialyzed 3 days a week. We didn't have that. My mom was a single parent. Right. And so, you know, my aunt passed away. And so when she passed away, she told me while she was sick that I needed to go back. I needed to go to nursing school. She felt like, you're the only one that runs to me when I get sick. Everybody else is afraid. They're calling 911, but you come and comfort me and just, you know, take care of me. So that pushed me to really understand kidney disease. And when I went to nursing school, it was a little paragraph. And so it wasn't much about kidney disease at all. Dialysis was not a rotation that we did, but God's timing is amazing. Once I was in a nursing home working, a lady met me and she ran a dialysis unit. And she was like, I would love for you to work for me because you just have such a great work ethic. And I took care of her mom. And I said, no, I love the elderly. I'm not ever leaving the nursing home. Right. And I loved it. And her mom passed away. And when her mom passed away, she came back to me and she said, I could really use you in the dialysis community. And so I said, well, I'll come visit you while I'm on vacation. And I never looked back. I loved it.
I love that.
The acute part of it, because patients were coming in acutely, because with kidney failure, it is caused by hypertension and diabetes. Those are the number 1 and 2 causes. And that kind of, encompasses the Black community a lot. It's a lot of us that have hypertension and diabetes. Some of it is genetic. Some of it is the way we take care of ourselves and our diet and different things like that. But there also is acute dialysis, like if something acutely happened to you, and that could be a childbirth, gunshot wound, there could be taking certain meds that cause your kidneys to fail. And then congestive heart failure can wear your kidneys out as well. But nevertheless, it's like this community, I think, crisis that we have, and we have the information. I had this conversation yesterday. There's plenty of information, but the transformation is where there's a disconnect. Yeah. You understand that I need to do this, this, and this to take care of my body. But give me the tools to have the consistency and the motivation and the drive to walk every day, go to the gym, eat the right foods. When you got all this other stuff in front of me, and now here you go, eat the salad, eat this. No, why are you bringing out all this other stuff that looks way better, smells better, and it just makes me feel good on the inside?
So human, ain't that a human?
Yes,
human side.
Yes, but when you have a family history of it like yourself. Yeah. And you get a front row seat to see what diabetes can do to the body. When I first got into nursing, I struggled with this because I would watch my patients pretty much lose their limbs. They come in the dialysis unit walking, and they would leave here minus maybe a leg or an arm or something, because a lot of times with diabetes, it messes with circulation and different things. And so I made it my business to really advocate for the Black community. So anytime I'm asked to speak or to be a part of an event with kidney health, I try to be a part of that because I look like them, so they understand it's nothing in it for me. I am really trying to save our community. I don't like to dialyze and the whole dialysis unit looks like me. When I say look like me, 50-year-old women.
Right.
Wow. And it's because we take on a lot of the burden of the family, extended family, everything, neighborhood. And so we tend to have hypertension.
Yeah.
And we self-care, COVID identified the lack of self-care with us.
Didn't it?
And yeah. So saying, hey, I'm not feeling anything today, then take that day for you. Right. You don't know why you're not feeling great and energized. Sometimes you just need some me time. And I don't care if it's sitting in your office, working on something that you just need some quiet time to crank it out. Or if it's going to the beach, or if it's, going to get a massage, or if it's going to eat a hamburger because you haven't had one because you've been eating good. So I think it's so important to do that. And as I'm getting older, that's my best day. I tell my husband, he'll say, Dada, I said, no, I'm just going to be by myself. And he's like, you okay? He think I'm upset. I'm like, no, I need this, because he don't know the phone calls I've gotten. He don't know the rejection emails I've gotten. The no's that you thought were a yes. And you understand that as an entrepreneur.
Very, very much so.
So a lot of times you just need time to digest to say, am I on the right track? Because I thought this was it.
Right. Yeah. The second guessing or the questioning or just the hoping and waiting is all a part of the journey, and it can affect your health. I'm so glad that you said that and just brought that up, and just telling us about Kidney Keeper. That is so important because like you said, the transformational piece, I find it doesn't happen until the doctor says it's too late, or you got to make a change today, even though the last 3 appointments, everything was going up and up and up. And, we've all had our own journeys, and we got to make a change. I felt like this was important to definitely discuss, because in our communities, seems like right beside every Wawa or across the street from a McDonald's, dialysis center somewhere. And recently I just was like, I was excited about it because of course my dad's on dialysis. So I'm like, wow, look at this awareness. But at the same time, why is it so many? So I don't think I recognize the true impact of how many people are really, really affected until I saw my dad. And of course, like I said, you go in there to pick him up, and it's just so many people.
Yes. And what's funny is when I first moved here in, I think it was 88, I was hired for a dialysis company a couple years later. And basically they trained me at one unit and they took every employee from that unit except the manager and sent them to the new unit opening. They were opening up so fast. There were, I don't know if you remember like those old photo albums grandmama used to have. Mm-hmm. There were photo albums of people on a waiting list when I started working. So they was trying to build dialysis units to house the patients. And the only way patients got in is if Mr. Smith died, then there's a chair and we'll call Mr. Jones to come get in that chair. That's how it was. And it messed me up too. Back in the day, I was like, when are these people starting? They said, we don't have a chair for them. Right. We don't have a chair. And back then we used to have to keep maybe 3 floating chairs. So if your daughter is graduating college and you want to bring granddaddy in and he's on dialysis, we had to have a chair to accommodate people from other states.
Out of town and what?
Yeah, because it was so many people, still want to have a productive life. They want to travel to a wedding or a graduation, but if there's no facility with a chair.
Yes.
And right now, that's not really required anymore.
Wow.
So what happens now when my patients are saying, hey, my granddaughter's graduating, I got to go see her graduate in Florida. I'm like, it's not the best idea because you can't find a seat. And so what happens is you try to see if that unit will dialyze them 2 days in a row to try to get that fluid down.
Heard of that as well. Yeah.
Yep, and get them to graduation and educate the family on the back end to say, hey, Uncle Joe coming, but please, he cannot have macaroni and cheese. He can't have it. See, all of that stuff.
The way I need you to call my father, because I'm just like, Daddy, are you supposed to be eating? Now he's doing a little bit better, but the way they want what they want, you just can only do what you can. But it's interesting to see our community still we just want what we want, man.
Well, see, the key is transformation. If somebody told you today that I love salad. If somebody told me today I couldn't have salad, with my tomatoes and all the things I like in it, I might listen to you for a minute, but it's going to take some mind. I got to work on my mind change, my shift, because what's in it for me? What's in it for me? And then I start looking at, okay, Aunt Sarah had it, Cousin Joe had it, and I watched them get sick. I watched them literally, pass away. I don't want that feeling back. So you have to sometimes sit in it and say, okay, I'm watching my dad go through this journey. I'm watching the process.
Right.
And then when you sit in it, you'll say, you know what? I don't want the latter days to look like that. So I got to start today. It's a transformation. It's not overnight. You got to slowly cut back on this and cut back on that. So if that time comes when you say, hey, this is what I need, I'm already in motion. And that's why I tell patients, when I started working my last job, I worked for the government. The first thing I wanted to do was a course for them, for the patients, a pre-CKD program, chronic kidney disease program. Mm-hmm. So they would already have an idea of what it would look like when you cross over.
That part.
And what happened, it kept my patients, it's 5 stages. It kept my stage 3 patients right there. Because I took them on a tour of the dialysis unit. I let them meet the patients, the nurses, and let them see what that next stage would look like so that they can really sit in it and say, you know what, I'm gonna do the best that I can do because I don't want to be committed 3 days a week, 4 to 6 hours a day, and you're not getting a paycheck. I used to tell them, you don't get paid to hang out with me all day.
Right. That part, listen, and the way it can minimize your life, honestly. I mean, thank God for Carnival Cruise. They have a dialysis unit on ship.
Yes.
So allowing them to still have a quality of life that is engaging and out here, but it definitely does change your life. And I encourage you all listening to get transformed. We're going to start to spread some more information to our community as much as we can to just help us in advance.
Let me say something positive.
Yeah.
We have home hemodialysis and peritoneal, different dialysis that can be done at home with the family that gives them more flexibility. And as the years progress, different methods and techniques are being created, but we want to stop the disease. period. And we have the power because it's all about diet and exercise. And then if you got family history, getting in front of that, saying, you know what? And this was one of the things me and my daughter laugh about all the time. When all of the women in my family got around 45 to 50, they started gaining weight. You know, and we saw that coming up. So we knew, and we talk about it now. And so when I was getting older, because I'll be 59 in a couple weeks, it's like,
you look great.
Thank you. I was like, I know, you know, our family has a tendency to gain weight. So I'm gonna get in front of this and start walking a little bit, start doing some things that can burn some calories and keep me moving. And I've been fortunate. I hadn't put on the weight yet. Not to say it won't happen, but at least I'm aware of it. And I know it runs in my family. You know how people say, oh, they got them genes, everybody get heavy. It's a process to that. It just don't happen overnight.
That part. A lot of family gatherings and macaroni and cheese leading up to the event. But like you're saying, we can be progressive in advance to minimize it so that it's not a hindrance in our later years. I love that. And appreciate you for sharing that. Listen, tell everybody where they can find more information about Kidney Keepers, and you overall, all your production companies, everything.
Well, I have social media, of course, Instagram, Facebook. I have Kidney Keeper on there. And also I have a website, www.kidneykeeper.com. And just Robyn Roots, you can go on my page and I have all of my information as well. And I just started working with menopause bosses.
Okay.
And yes, and that has been very exciting because, you know, we are all having hormonal changes, men and women, as we mature, if we're honest.
Yeah.
And you can see it in various ways, whether it's, you know, hair thinning, your skin is changing, your bone density and all of those things. You know, you feel like every time I get up, I hear everything cracking and there's something going on, or you can, you know, injure yourself easier. And then with women, we have hot flashes and different things like that. So I really want that to be something we can talk about with ease and grace, because it's a blessing to have these changes, because we as women, we know after a certain age, you know, we don't want to have any kids anyway. So it's a part of your body changing into that next, look at your face, into that next journey. And so I've just, I have enjoyed classes that I do online, talking to various women, all ages. And it's just, I mean, because we don't talk about it. And it's like people told us about having kids, getting married, you know, buying your first house. But nobody really said what the end was going to look like.
They lied about the journey, friend. I am an advocate about being very much accurate about what this journey is. So I love that you said that. And send me some information, because I want to be a part of the speaking up in this next generation. Every time, I'm 41, and every time of the month, I'm like, they didn't say anything about, nobody said anything about this. And then when I ask my mom or talk to some other elders in my family, they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, well, what?
Well, at least they saying, oh yeah, because a lot of people telling me, I don't want to talk about that. Because like when I try to talk to my mom, she's in her 80s. Why we got to talk about that? Why? We got to discuss that.
I need help. I need to understand. Yeah. Like, let's talk about it. Y'all know I cut my hair, of course.
Looks nice.
And thank you. And, just the more women I see, I never understood why women over 40 ended up starting to do that. It just, between the texture of my hair changing, like you're saying, just the small changes, and then also realizing I didn't want it to be pulled anymore with braids, and I just was kind of over it. And it just made sense for my lifestyle currently. Not saying I'll never grow it again, you know what I mean? But being honest about just where you are in certain places just makes sense. So yeah.
And that's good. I applaud you for doing that, because I think we always considering everybody else when we're making decisions.
Yeah.
And when you get to a certain phase of your life, you can care less. And it is so empowering to know who you are and that you have the power to change anything that you want to change. Stop getting all the power people poll on everything that you're doing. And I think that's what's happened with me since I retired. I don't really call around and say, what y'all think? This is what's going down. This is where I'm going to be. Y'all want to come through? Fine. If not, I'll holler at you later. And they're like, we're on it. And, because I used to, I just really, not that I don't care, but I don't care, because it's important that you live your authentic self, your life, because when it's all said and done, it's about you and him. He's like, okay, I didn't tell you to do all that.
That part. I want you to be where you're supposed to be. I don't even, fret anymore. Like if I can't catch up with someone or we just can't, because when it's going to happen, and it's going to be the best thing in that moment. It's just not meant at this time. It's when you do let go of that control, that's really true freedom on everything. Hair, friends, family, these jobs.
That organic, that organic stuff.
What's authentic, just
let it happen. And with me, like I said, my passion is health and wealth. And I'm also in the process, of course, like I said, nurse filmmaker. I am studying to get my insurance license.
Because can you talk about that a little bit? Tell us about that.
Well, I'm excited because I'm always looking for ways to help the community. And I feel like I'm a walking example for people. But sometimes people's like, she hadn't been working in a year and she's still rocking like this. It's other things I've done. It's certain insurance policies that are paying me, value out of them money. So I'm living off of some of my investments from way back in the day. And a lot of people, they don't realize what they have. It's just like cable. You don't even know why you paying what you paying. Your insurance on the car, you really don't know, why am I paying this much or why is it so cheap? Do I really have the right coverage? And so I think a lot of people, they do have insurance, but they don't realize what kind they have, whether it's term, whole life, all of that little technical stuff. But it's important to have something that has living benefits in it. So when you get ready to retire or you get a certain age, you can start living off of your money. All your money don't have to be left for your loved ones when you pass away. Live right now on what you work for and what you save. And so those are moves I made when I didn't understand.
Right.
But midway, I got it. And I was like, we rolled. Right. So I said, I can retire in my 50s. I'm going to do this. And so people are like, how is she retired? And this and this. I can do a disclaimer. I have taken none of that money. I don't need that money. My Social Security is still sitting tight. My retirement from the government is still sitting tight, but I had made other investments that I'm living on now. And I think that's important. Let your money work for you. We hear that all the time. Yeah. And so I want to also include financial literacy into my health because they are very equal. So that's what my businesses are all about. Just making sure you understand you can be so healthy, but if you're broke, after a while, it's going to affect you.
It wears on you. That's how we kicked off this conversation. Just all of the things. And I love your holistic approach to everyone's health and wellness, because you got the creative side with the production, and then you got the true physical side, and then the spiritual side. Because we know you are connected to the man above. I love that God is my business partner too.
Yes. Best one you could ever have, because he gonna tell you no.
And you feel
it. Yeah, it'd be like wait.
He ain't doing anything behind your back except for the good things. Even when the rough things happen, right? It's still for you. It's to
turn you. You going the wrong way. I gotta be bumping into a wall. And that's what I said earlier. You'll think these things are a yes, and out of the blue they become no's. And you're like, what happened? Did I say something, do something? Did I forget to do something? And it's like, God be like, leave that alone. Let's go. I got something better. And it's really, you hear that coming up as a young person. When God closed one door, another will open. It is so true. Yeah. Don't be trying to shake the knob and get in. Let it go.
It's not for you because he might just let you in. And then you realize, I wish I had never opened.
Yes. You was talking about that yesterday. I was like, she better stop.
This has been an amazing conversation. I appreciate you for coming on and sharing with everyone. Any final words that you want to leave us with before we head out?
Number one, don't ever think you're too old to change. So if today you say, I need to do better on this, and this, okay. Now get consistent, get serious, and write a plan. And you can do it, because the way we're living now, some people are living to 80. The generation behind us, they got them living over 100. And so think about that. If you hear another 50 years, are you going to enjoy that other 50 years? Yeah. Or are you going to be working and trying to find $1? Are you going to be trying to take care of yourself. Start today, because every little bit helps. I can tell you, I walk now. I used to love to run until I had a back injury, so I walk. And I did not want to walk. I want to run. But every time I ran, my back would flare up. So now I walk like 4 miles, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
I love it. Y'all start today. I am inspired. I'm going to start today because it really is a transformation. Like, just making the right decisions every day for yourself, and not just for you, but for your family, right? We want to be with everyone, and the grandkids and the great nieces. We want to see them all graduate and do what they're supposed to do. So
they're watching you. They're watching you. So when they don't do right, well, Nene didn't do this, or Nene. And once you hit at one time, you'll get in check, because they're watching you. They got their parents, but they're watching the matriarchs of the family.
They are.
What is she doing? Oh, she'll never have no money. She always in front of TV,
Listen, and that's key though, because I feel like there are a lot of people out here, we are trying to impress the world, and we have our own legacy and lineage to encourage. So yes, y'all be inspired. Thank you, Robyn, for joining us today. I appreciate you. Y'all are still listening to the Cara Pressley Radio Show, so sit tight. I'll be back in a moment. Y'all, wasn't that a fulfilling episode with Robyn Roots? I mean, I love tapping in with people, learning new things, getting some inspiration myself. Do you feel transformed? I hope you feel transformed to get yourself some insurance, to go take a walk, to learn about your kidney health, or inspire and help someone around you who may be dealing with kidney health. Listen, make sure you understand and follow who Robyn is. Robyn Roots, like she said, on Facebook, Instagram, and then the Kidney Keeper is also her information online. You guys, look, we're doing a lot of successful things out here in these streets. If you are in the Richmond, Virginia area, please connect with me so that you can come and see my new game show. Are You Ready? It's a pop-up game show. I'm going to be all around the city this summer. I cannot wait to show you guys more about it. Visit my website, carapressley.com. If you have a business that needs exposure, please be one of our sponsored prizes, or reach out to me for some additional sponsorship. I love y'all to life, man. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. Have a successful day. Again, if you need me, if you want to reach out to me, visit carapressley.com. But at a minimum, I thank you for listening to me right here on ESPN 106.1, the number one in business radio on ESPN, in partnership with Mike King. And of course, you can watch the full visuals from this interview on YouTube. Okay, it's my YouTube at Cara Pressley. Please go subscribe. We are having some humble beginnings over there, but excited about the journey of growing our subscribers on YouTube. So I look forward to hearing from you when you reach out to me. Follow me and enjoy the entire journey. I love y'all so much. Have a great day.